Japan's ruling party elects Sanae Takaichi as new leader, likely to become first female PM. So, Masaigu said, and this seems like a reasonable conceit to me. Masaigu said that the reason this happened is because they are looking to, they're expected to lose quite badly in the next election, and they want to blame it on a woman. Hardline, ultra-conservative, and China hawk. The lower legislature is already controlled by the opposition. Takaichi is one of the most conservative members of the male-dominated party, an admirer of former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. Fascism really is international, huh? A regular at the Yasukuni Shrine, seen as a symbol of Japan's wartime militarism. So we expect her to lose, or at least the party to lose big? Okay. Vows to strengthen Japan-US alliance. Well, that's nice. She has an interesting taste in literature. Nice photos. Takaichi previously wrote a blog recommending a book titled Hitler's Election Strategy, which stated, voters you cannot persuade should be eliminated. After significant backlash, the book was pulled from shelves 2 months later. Oh, well, that is just Hitler's strategy. Wait, how are you going to be mad at the book for that? That was Hitler's election strategy. That's true. I don't know what I expected. It does what it says on the tin. The problem is she's already outflanked by the right-wing parties in the opposition. She can't even capture far right vote if she pivots to the right. Well, I mean, her being a woman probably doesn't help. But yeah, okay, we'll see how it goes. I doubt she'll go very far. Advocate for strict immigration policies, the rearmament of Japan, opposes gay marriage, and is against a potential female emperor. How could you have a female emperor? What does that even mean? Was anyone even talking about having a female emperor? What is that? Who wants an empress? Is anyone there fighting for an empress? They were going to allow it because there was no male heir until the male heir had a boy kid. Well, now he has now there's a boy, so there you go. Stupid. Major domestic challenges, new leader, Takaichi will need cooperation from key opposition groups to implement her party policies. Nope. Shied away from her conservative and anti-China views during campaigning. Yeah. Okay, doesn't seem like doesn't gonna matter very much. Important to note the legislature recognized same-sex couples and partnership laws for the first time. Yeah, it's kind of a weird dynamic over there. I could be wrong, but my understanding is that, like, the attitude that the Japanese have towards queerness is different than in the West, in the sense that a lot of them are kind of fine with it, but not, like, active advocate. Like, there are young Japanese who are aggressive advocates for queer rights or whatever, but it's more like staunch conservatism in the country takes the form of, like, well, why fuss things up, you know, why make a mess, why change anything, and not so much like Christian reactionary hate and direct bigotry and opposition, though there is plenty of bigotry. What a mess. Some lesbianism was allowed in Imperial Japan as long as they, quote, grew out of it, and in fairness, most women do. Historically, Japan did the same pederasty as the Greeks and the Romans, fun fact. Didn't the Persians do it as well? It was probably just common to a particular time period. They're doing it right now in Afghanistan. Are you fucking serious, Vaush? Oh, the pink dots in chat are mad. Oh, did the edgy streamer hit you with a joke that was objectively funny but cut a little bit too hard to comments that were made disparaging you in your youth? Yeah, well, you know who has it hard? White men, okay? You see how many jokes I have to deal with? Every time a white guy with a beard pops up on stream, people are like, is that Vaush? Couldn't get away with that if I was black. Type shit. It's called dark humor, liberal. Get over it. Do Dems need to end the make white dudes feel bad political project they've been doing for the last 15 years? Yeah, they probably do. It is actually a real problem. A significant number of Democrat staffers, like staff, consultants, people they work with broadly, writers, are gay or women. And that's not bad on its own, but given that and the culture of, like, yes queen, wine mom, liberal, Democrat centrism that is already prevalent within these spaces, it leads to very bad analysis. You know, you're basically getting, like, politics distilled from BuzzFeed articles circa 2015, and that's not good. Yeah, never, ever, ever forget the fact that Hillary Clinton literally ran with her turn. Like, that was actually something people leaned into. That's crazy. That was unforgivable. Did you see Randy Fine saying racist shit to Mamdani? Racist shit from Randy Fine? That's crazy. Bear found in woods? Fat retard found in halls of Congress? What do you want? My statement on the 2-year anniversary of October 7th. Seems a little bit unnecessary, to be honest. I'm not sure why Mamdani would... I wonder if he was pressed to do this by somebody. You know? Like, people who think that Mamdani is an anti-Semite or people who are Islamophobic against Mamdani are going to continue being both of those things no matter what he says. And he said the right thing like hundreds of times. So I don't really know how much more you can do there. I don't know who you're really speaking to. Oh, are all the angry people like lefties who are mad for saying that he said October 7th was bad? Yes? Ah, well, you know. Circular firing squad. Well, it's not really circular firing squad because a lot of these people aren't even meaningfully left anyway. They're just anti-American, which is, you know, good, but it doesn't necessarily make you left. Did you see people being mad he said Maduro is a dictator? Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Mamdani was asked if he thinks that Muro and Miguel Diaz-Canel are dictators, and he said yes, because they both objectively are, and lefties are mad about it. He's doing, like, radio free press stuff or whatever. What's crazy is the Communist Party of Venezuela also calls him a dictator. It's just a meaningless. It's just for like lefties who have condemned themselves to permanent political ineffectiveness by, you know, hinging their identity and their vision for the future entirely on defending objectively bad ideas and objectively unpopular people in objectively failed societies. I don't think Cuba's a failed society. I do think the government of Cuba has been doing a pretty bad job. Certainly not as bad as Venezuela, though. Like, Maduro is basically indefensible. The only reason anybody would defend Maduro is if they just hated the United States so much they were reflexively defending anyone the U.S. didn't like. Which, you know, you could do that for Hitler if you want. It doesn't matter. Wonder if he'll be yelled at for harming DSA's international solidarity work. What? What is the DSA doing to advance the? What does that even mean? My international solidarity. These people are so dumb. Well, they don't actually believe in anything. They don't have like a political project they care about. You gotta have a project. Here's a clip of Cuomo on The View yesterday, unable to define democratic socialism. I can't show the View clips. Also, I can't define democratic socialism. I fucking hate that term, man. Socialism definitionally is democratic. I reject any other definitions of socialism. I feel like you're capitulating otherwise. I don't really believe in authoritarian. So how do the workers own the means of production? How do you have a one-party state where the workers own the means of production and somehow it's not democratic? I don't understand. Come on, don't be a purist. There can be democratic and authoritarian socialism. Well, if you want to make an argument for like the potential existence of authoritarian socialism, then I would much prefer you just append socialism with socialism parentheses but authoritarian, because socialism in its default state should be considered democratic. It is like objectively an economic and social program that advances liberalism as a social, endeavor, as an effort to democratize and make equal human beings by introducing those same principles to the economic forces of society, right? Like I feel like democracy should just be assumed. I don't know why we would toss that out and have to like specify it with the terminology. Don't believe in that shit. Rick Wilson, one of the main Lincoln Project guys, says he's gotten a win that Stephen Miller and Russ Vought are the main dudes running things behind the admin. Does that sound accurate to you? Yes. Yeah, I would say so. Russ Vought, Project 2025 architect, is basically the policy director for the administration. And Miller seems to be handling the groundwork direction for the fascist takeover, to whatever extent that's actually working. Vaush, do you think Miller ever rage cries himself to sleep over how incompetent and inefficient Trump is at enacting their fascist ideals? I bet you he is very frustrated. He has to know he's running out of time to, like, really bring the hammer down, For later in stream, Hassan got to debate an NYC reporter in a one-on-one interview. Reporter's name is Ross Tuthet. Okay. How is that for later in stream? By NYC reporter, do you mean NYT reporter? Like you're not just referring to a reporter from the city of New York, right? You mean New York Times reporter. Was that your program scheduler? Yeah, Jesus. I guess I have another paycheck to send out. I didn't realize. Was there something noteworthy about it? Request so bad it got Vaush curious. Well, other people seem to know about it. New York Times, my bad. Yeah, I know you were wrong. Don't worry. You don't need to affirm my belief in that. What's significant about this interview? On Pangburn, Destiny said fuck Vaush, fuck Hassan, but Vaush assigned weird. Okay. I haven't been banning enough people lately. If you're talking about some shit, you need to explain what the fuck you're talking about. The standards for information relaying in this chat have been sinking lately, okay? Hassan talked to NYC reporter. You cover? Question mark, parentheses? On Pangburn. What the fuck is Pangburn? What are you people talking about? What is the point of this? Just tell me. Just if you want me to cover something, you have to present the information in a good enough packet that I can understand. Like, if you want me to, I assume it's an incentive, right? Like, you want me to talk about it. If you want me to talk about it, you have to actually, like, provide me. Yeah, dude, it's on Fujo. Dude, it's on Fleeb. It's on Quib. It's literally on Clit right now. It's on Clit, bro. It's on Clit. Can you provide me the fucking information? No, apparently not. All right, we'll ignore all of it then, since you're so insistent on not giving me the necessary context to cover it. Blue City erupts as 91-time felon tries to dodge prison, weasel into rehab after crash. Police say Troy McAllister, 45, was intoxicated when he ran a red light in a stolen car, killing Elizabeth Platt, 60, and Hanako Abe, 27. What the hell? What city? San Francisco, of course. 91 felonies. Incredible. Level 100 crook. Yeah, take notes, everyone. That's how mafia works. It's a bizarre country in terms of criminal justice, man. It's a bizarre fucking country. I want to know more about his priors. Prosecutors are fighting their version of Wait. California Penal Code 1001.36, which was enacted in 2018, allows certain criminals with a diagnosed mental health or substance use disorder to enter court-supervised treatment instead of facing trial. Shouldn't that only apply to, like, drug crimes? Like, if this means that a meth addict goes to treatment rather than jail, that's good. But if the meth addict tried to rob someone with a gun, I think they should still go to jail. What the hell? This undated photo shows Troy McAllister. Okay, Jesus fuck. I don't know why they're showing, like, unrelated people. I was like, oh my god, was that like an old photo and this is a new photo? Jesus fucking Christ, the years have been hard. Being a level 100 crook. I mean, man, life in the fast lane, a candle burning from both ends. No, it's separate people. Jesus. This guy's younger than the first guy, though? What? 41-year-old Courtney Boose. 50-year-old Troy McAllister? Never mind, being a level 100 crook actually, like, it's fucking rules. Pays back massively. You live forever. You kidding me? This guy's 50? I can't. The plot of Get Out, man. Does wonders for your skin. 41. It's the meth? Yeah, it's probably the meth. Courtney Boose, 41, is accused of stabbing a 69-year-old man at Lawrence gas station, and it's far from his first run with police. According to Fox 59, records show he's been arrested 99 times over the years for charges ranging from theft to battery, yet he's never served prison time. You know that fucking meme? Like no, the average black person does not commit 3 violent crimes a year. You know, Crimes George, who commits 473,000 crimes a year, was an outlier and should not have been counted. I unironically think they're doing this to the black population. I'm not joking, okay? There's no fucking way the cops and the DAs in all these blue cities are being so anti-racist that they're maintaining their high prison populations but letting a few people fly nonstop. You know, I think they're doing this to pump the averages. This shit is crazy. Yeah, they're stat padding. I was watching your climate debate. That's quite old. And saw how you brought up data and even linked studies. Do you keep up now with educating yourself by reading studies? Yeah, I read studies pretty often, but only on subjects that I feel there's any question to. I don't feel the need to read studies on the efficacy of transition for trans people anymore. I've read enough, you know? There's not much of a difference, in my mind at least, between reading 10 and reading 20 and reading 30. Once you know where the consensus is, especially with meta-analyses, right? You pretty much have the answer. It's not like the right is susceptible to, you know, data anyway. But yeah, you should always try to further your knowledge. Even for subjects that you're already familiar with the answer to, you might get better arguments. I'm concerned the admins saying they will make Portland safe will embolden MAGA to visit and move to Portland. I don't think so. Don't worry. I wouldn't. No. The Portland can never be safe. If Portland was ever actually made safe, made unwoke or whatever, it would no longer be a point against which the administration could draw attention. There will never be a point, at least not without substantial long-term cultural changes, that the administration endorses Chud's move to Portland, you know? I think trying to convince cops to quit on moral grounds is a bad idea, since good ones might quit, but bad ones never will. To a large extent, yeah. I think except in very extreme circumstances, you're not going to get any good long-term outcomes by trying to encourage cops to quit. Like, I can't think of a single time that's ever led to any improvement in police action. You need to target more from, like, the top down. I do think it's worth remembering that no matter how hard they try, nothing is turning back the clock. Nothing is turning back the clock on gay and trans people being out there in the limelight, okay? Yeah, we're getting a little bit of cultural backlash, whatever. Theo Von and Joe Rogan are already trying to rinse their hands of Donald Trump, okay? The MAGA movement is temporal, all right? The presence of gay and trans people is eternal. That shit is not changing. They're not going back in the closet. It's just not happening, okay? You know, just a couple of days ago, there was another massive pride march in Budapest, in Hungary, where those pride marches are illegal. There was another one. You can't put the lid on this. It's not possible. It's too tied to the human spirit, you know? A little bit like women's rights. I think in a materialist sense, you could argue that homophobia and transphobia... Oh, it wasn't in Budapest, it was in Pécs? Okay, it was in the countryside. Okay, in Hungary then, not in Budapest. Gotcha. Another major city. Gotcha. But you get incognito gays like Fuentes. Oh yeah, incognito. Plus, half the people who watch Fuentes are gay too, and they all know it, okay? They're all furry chasers, girl dick, etc. Come on, everyone's been to 4chan. You see what the fuck these people are on about, okay? Or Twitter, now that Twitter is poll. You know, it's not that much of a distinction these days either way. What was the point that I was trying to make? Oh yeah, I think you could fairly argue that this is a material conditions thing, okay? Certain social and technological conditions make it much easier for societies to be reactionary than others, right? In a feudal society where every family is 57 kids, half of them die of you know, malaria or cholera or whatever the fuck before they turn 5. And society is very like hierarchical and rigid and structured, and communication is very limited. I think it's easy to be homophobic. Nowadays, with the internet, nah. I have a feeling that even countries like Saudi Arabia are going to have limited like protections for queer people sometime within our lifetime. Things might destabilize. I mean, you know, climate disasters and so on. Maybe in the future it's not going to be the case, but I think that there's just kind of an inevitability to it. Once everyone has the ability to communicate freely online, everyone has the ability to like share their experiences, and you find out just how connected we all are. It's just really hard to keep the gay shit in the bag, you know? And to that point, I think that this even if the Supreme Court does make conversion therapy mandatory legal in all states, like that is to say states can't ban it. The Supreme Court prevents states from banning conversion therapy. States still might be able to ban like more pernicious forms of it. They just can't ban like broadly therapy that is meant to change one's identity. They would have to ban certain practices within that therapy. And also, it's not going to be popular, okay? So many young people are gay and trans. This shit is like conversion therapy was unpopular back in the 1990s. It was broadly maligned even back then. The world has gotten a lot gayer since then, and it's not going back. This is only going to make them more unpopular. A lot of people will suffer, but most importantly, not me, because I'm 31. Shit is so different now. Yeah. Even early in my lifetime, the way gay people were treated was so different. Can somebody red pill us non-Christians on what the fuck conversion therapy is? Do you think that red pill just means to be made aware of something? The word you're looking for is inform. Can somebody inform us non-Christians on what conversion therapy is? And it's not just a Christian practice. I mean, in America it usually is, but there are versions of it in other countries with other religions. It just means trying to convert somebody out of being gay or trans. Yes, usually through literal torture. Yeah, for sure. All this shit reminds me of my favorite book from the 90s, Ariel, Book of the Change. If you like mouthy unicorn and top necromancy thugs riding named Shitan. Well, I could be the unicorn, and that would be cool. Necromancy is so cool, man. Sorry, not in real life. I've never partaken. Like as a concept in media, and I feel like it's kind of a shame that necromancers are so... We have like an archetype in our head of what a necromancer looks like, and we stick to it, and I feel like it kind of limits... Like, there's so much shit you could play with there, you know? You're going to the pyre, little bro. Fuck! I'm sorry, I repent. Vaush, the video keeps skipping in the Palestine action segment of yesterday's VOD. It seems that about 5 minutes of video was removed sometime after the stream based on the timestamp in the comments. Do you know what happened there? Wow. That's heavy-handed. Yeah, no kidding. It looks like The Guardian removed a section of it, specifically with the Palestine action. Now, I've seen stuff produced by The Guardian before, so I'm guessing they're just blocking Palestine-related stuff. Initially, it was the whole video, but then it got limited just to the relevant section of the VOD. It's illegal to talk about Palestine. Funnily, that's what the segment was about. Is that legal? Yes. Can you do anything about it? No. Wait, deadass, or was it just a glitch? Why is this surprising to you people? Removed it, the VOD got blocked? Yeah. I figured, because of the Guardian thing. So the editors removed it, so that the whole VOD didn't get blocked. There you go. I don't know when y'all are joking. We never joke here.